I made this.
Steve Blyth, window-cleaning-magazine.co.uk, and I'm here with AC Lockyer, who is just finishing up his
pub tour.
soft wash pub tour, and started up in Glasgow, went to Leeds, Bristol, and we're down in Ashwood, Kent, south of London.
Yes.
And this is your first time to the United Kingdom.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
And how did you find it so far?
Green. In more ways than one.
So funkalicious.
It is funkalicious. We have keyed a phrase here in the UK, yes.
And what did you find different? What did you notice first off about the work here that needs to be done with soft washing versus what you've encountered most of your career?
Well, most of my career was in Florida, so we just sling bleach on it, it's done. You know, it's very easy to clean. So as we've gone throughout different parts of the world, different parts of the United States and now Canada and the UK and some other countries, here in the UK, you have some really old funk. And it's not only just 3, 4, 5-year-old stuff. I did a before and after picture, posted it up on my Facebook, and one of my friends said, "You just cleaned hundreds of years of stuff off a building." So I mean, yeah, we've got some stuff on the buildings here that it's just what they would call the patina of the building is just really old and really deep in and clumpy. It's unbelievable.
So you're finding you're having to agitate a little more, maybe?
That agitate would be using a light term. Yeah, so shoveling, scraping, kneading, there's definitely some agitation, and what we found though with the chemicals is the chemicals still, just like it does everywhere else, is breaking that bond between the filament root system and the algae body, the stem there, of the moss, the lichens, the algae, the bacteria. It's definitely decimating that. But there's such a preponderance, is what I would call it, such a preponderance of material up on the roofs that it really just doesn't do it justice unless you agitate it and rinse it off.
So a lot of slate, a lot of tile up there on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of those structures, as you said, have been around for much longer than most of the structures in Florida.
Yes, yeah. They're much longer, yes.
And then render. How'd you like it?
The movie Grease, it says grease is the word. No, here it's render is the word for sure. Render's interesting. It's kind of like our stucco in the States, but it's certainly more prolific throughout the area here. And it's in many cases it's not painted. It's a color through rendering, but it's very porous and just takes a lot of chemical to soak in and just get a good kill ratio down in there. So it definitely poses a challenge. And it's not just the black streaking like we see throughout the United States and the southeast United States. A lot of areas here, you've got burgundies and greens and reds and blues and purples and almost we call it the Technicolor funk.
The truck mounts are more van mounts.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States, it's more the pickup truck, throw it in the back, run out to the site.
Right.
Here, they're van oriented.
Sure.
Much more so. And how was the acceptance for trying to squeeze a skid into some of these vans?
Well, the vans here are so huge. I mean, they're very, very large vans. The vans that we've just started seeing in the States that we call Euro vans. Is their commonplace here, and they have some very, very large vans that when you put in our largest skid, which I had to start describing our skids as small, medium, and large because 26 inches, 42 and 72 meant nothing to them here on the metric system. So when you take our large skid and put it in a van here, there's really quite a bit of room left in the vans, which I was surprised, even the headroom above the system. So it's a great fit. I had somebody actually ask me here, they said, so are you finding it different here in the UK that with the wanting to put everything in a van and having everything on a package on a skid, and that's very different in the United States. And I said, well, actually in the United States, people were laughing at us 3-4 years ago, putting stuff in the back of a pickup truck and not putting it on a trailer and actually have something mounted. So we found out here that we're kind of very European in what we've been doing at Soft Wash Systems and putting together something that's a van mount or a skid mount that goes in a pickup truck or a van or even a box truck. And here it's a very good fit for the vans, for sure.
The UK market has been a kind of a world leader in pure water cleaning of windows and getting out there and water-fed pulling. I see a joining of the forces with soft washing and pure water. A couple of the skids that's manufactured by Soft Wash Systems have a pure water module on there with RHG Products pure water system on top.
Sure.
And do you think that might become a predominant component of how they go after?
Absolutely. One of the comments that we got over and over and over again here was that people really liked that they could take one skid and have everything to clean a building mounted on one skid. I think the UK here really appreciates and adopts the model of having one piece of equipment that you can roll up to a house and clean multiple things. And for us, adding the pure water window cleaning stuff years ago was just huge because we were messing up the windows so badly cleaning the houses. And with their expertise, I've noticed everybody has a higher sense of detail here. They're not just spraying a bunch of bleach on the houses. They're using water-fed poles with brushes to control the overspray and more mop on the soft washing chemicals. So I see some of the tradesmen and craftsmanship coming from the water-fed pole trade here in the UK, bringing in a significant hybridization of our spraying techniques in the US. And I believe that water-fed pole heritage they have here is really going to improve the way buildings are cleaned with the soft washing systems we're bringing here.
Today, when we were out performing at the demonstration building, we really had more of an estate-style home where it was set back from the other houses.
Right.
But so many of the houses are more like our condominiums or townhouses in the States here, where
yes,
a unit is right next to the next unit.
Right.
So I think that what you're describing here in that instance is that trying to manage that one slice of a larger building, they've developed techniques to be able to apply the product in a manner.
Yeah, because they're really wanting to limit the amount of overspray they have because of the compactness of the homes and the density of the population. But also too, they have their leaded flashing that they do is similar to our zinc in the United States. From what I understand, they told me it's still really lead here. And it, like our zinc, it turns orange when you get the chemical on it. So you just can't sloppily put out the solution where you have step flashing on a building or cap flashing at the top of a roof. You have to control your application. So they're using water-fed poles with the brushes with the jets going down into the water-fed poles to apply the chemicals, which I thought was, I've learned a new word here in the UK. It was very smart.
In our conversations that you had with the people that were here, there was a conversation about how much bleach could be carried.
Sure.
And it appears that it's around 200 liters at this time.
Sure.
Is what the consensus was, still to be looked at for crossing I's and dotting T's.
Yes, yes.
Which happens to fit nicely with the single slice in on the soft wash system. So one could be dedicated to bleach, meets the expected understanding of the carriage ability in the UK.
Yeah, and that's great because all the equipment that we've created in the United States seems to slide in very nicely here in the UK. When you do your conversions between US and metric, we found that a lot of the regulations and all are very, very similar. So the equipment is coming in already compliant to the UK standard.
And that leads to an easy transition for training materials and understanding how to install and run the equipment.
Oh yeah, very, very easy. And the metric system, we're all having to brush up on that back at Soft Wash Systems and help with that. But we're going to be putting together the training materials in metric and engineering all of that and re-recording that for the UK market.
So AC, Soft Wash Systems is really known for putting the systems in soft washing.
Sure.
Covering all the bases from product development to how do you apply it, to how do you train your technicians, your operators, your senior staff, and the salespeople, and your marketing program.
Yes.
Have you been able to understand how the marketing program might differ here on approaching or trying to approach the market? It doesn't seem like many of the streets might be
conducive to a rock flyer.
Right, rock flyer candidates.
But just think, hey, we could put out 600 rock flyers in a quarter mile. Yes. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, everywhere you go, even in the States, everywhere you go, marketing is different. Okay, and at Soft Wash Systems, because we're a very highly systemized business model, and we're able to come in and really help people come in and start a business and grow it quickly and not have to reinvent the wheel, everywhere we go has some tweaking that has to be done, certainly.
So plan, execute, measure.
Yeah, the 5 keys to parenting success are the same everywhere, but some of the ingredients, the steps are the same, the ingredients might be different, and you have to take that into account. So a lot of the marketing here is going to be different. The great thing I love is the UK people are a lot more edgy than the United States people. I mean, the humor level, the edge to them is great, so that's going to make a lot of great fun for marketing over here. So can't wait to jump into that. But also too, the types of buildings, the relationships. We had a very, very excited property manager that has tens of thousands of properties across the UK come to our event that was very excited. I mean, we have to practically kidnap a property manager in the States to get them to come to one of our events. This guy was so excited.
You lure them in with free Mustangs.
We do, yes, and it works very, very nicely. But we have to do that in the States. Here, this guy was overjoyed, spent 2 days with us. He left here excited, and we're already at Purple Rhino getting business from this company, but now we're going to be able to take and spin this up nationwide here in the UK and bring and funnel a lot of business down to our soft wash authorized companies here in the UK, which is going to be very fun.
So, your final takeaway is you head off now to become a tourist tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, my 1 day off on my 10-day trip.
How do you feel about summing up everything that you have for the last 8-9 years?
Wow. So the expectation, you learn in business to lower your expectation so you're not disappointed. And we would have been happy if 3 or 4 people showed up to each stop and we had 20 or 30 people here. The UK cleaning community is very hungry for soft washing. They're very amicable to trying new things and new techniques. I was really not surprised, but overjoyed in the fact that everybody was very positive and was just gracious and incredible hosts. I think the takeaway from this is we have a family over here in the UK now. Soft washing is going to grow, and I can't wait above and beyond money for sure to see families and businesses and legacies and just the impact soft washing is going to have on people's lives here, because that's the bigger thing for sure.